to destroy black on black crime.
I know, but
what are we gonna do to do that?
You go to the source, and I just told you the source. The source is you. You don't know this. You think it's you. The source of black on black crimes comes straight out of the Pentagon. You are not going to deal with the Pentagon, the CIA. You're not going to do it. These are social policies that they produce. Again, they produce the crime in your community. They produce the poverty. Now, I'll give you a perfect example. You take veterans. Many of the veterans know this. The espionage experts, spies, assassins. Look, I'll use the Marshall Plan. The Department of Army got a manual. It's called Insurgency and Counterinsurgency. They know how to destroy a community. They know how to rebuild a community. For example, you said you keep a people in poverty. You know they're going to steal from each other. They're going to rob each other. You create the conditions, availability of guns, the proliferation of drugs. You already know what they're going to do. You know that, but you want this. And what you want them to do is destroy themselves. And that's exactly what they're doing. That's the only difference, basically, between, Malcolm said the difference between the Democratic Party and the Republican Party. Malcolm said one's a wolf, the other the fox. Democrats said, look, let's control them through food stamps, poverty, and availability of housing. Today, the Republicans said, no, we'll use prison and police repression. The Democrats said, no, we ain't got to do that. We can create conditions in their community where they will destroy themselves. And that's exactly what happened. What's happened? But you would think human beings are smarter than animals. But it's obvious that many of us are not. We aid in our own destruction as a people, playing right into the hands and policies of those who want to control and destroy us. You can create conditions where people will destroy themselves.
Can you give us a recommendation? I know we're coming after you. We stand on your shoulders, but if you had one recommendation to help us to actually physically, tangibly deal with it, what would that be today?
You cannot depend on your oppressor to solve your problems. The black people problem is a human rights problem, and knowing your friends from your enemies, and they're not necessarily the Democratic and Republican Party. Your friends are people of color who have been victimized by the powerful and wealthy European nations all over this earth. Too many of us don't have the intelligence or the courage to deal with this phenomenon because we live, you could say, in the belly of the beast. In order to exploit and oppress the people of South America, the Europeans have to go there and then use some of the South Americans to do this. It's much easier to use blacks in America to aid in the destruction of their own people because, again, we are in the belly of the beast. But you need to understand you have friends and allies all over this world. And you're gonna have to utilize it. That's where your salvation lies. Not with your oppressor. Not with your adversary. Our people don't know this. That's why they killed Dr. King. That's why they killed Malcolm X. Oh yeah. These are the reasons they do. To keep the masses confused. And even Elder Cleaver, the Black Panther Party, he talked about black misleaders. Even the late great Roy Wood talked about the goat that lead the sheep to the shields. Or an example, Chicago stockyards, where they had a heifer, female cow, or a bull that would lead other cows into slaughter. You don't kill the leader who lead the other cows into the slaughterhouse. You let him or her live to go back and lead another group into slaughter. And that's what our leaders do to us. You have to know these principles of sociology and psychology. You have to know who your real friends and enemies are. You see, they have us thinking that they write the narrative to our so-called struggle. What was going on all over the world involving European control of people of color was very much responsible for the successes of the so-called civil rights movement, which really civil rights only alludes to voting rights. Voting is not going to stop the police from terrorizing you. Voting is not going to stop white citizens from terrorizing you. Simply voting is not going to end, quote, black on black crime. Again, the policies that produce the poverty, the crime in our community, these are intentional programs produced straight out of Washington, D.C., aided by what they call research institutes that are on college campuses all over the United States, who advise the Pentagon as to the techniques of laughing in their face and put a knife in their back. And I'm saying this and I'm taking a risk, because one brother told me, so Smithfield, if the masses listened to you, the government would have been assassinated you.
Please put him in some kind of way. It was the Lord who brought you. God used resources. He used people to do what he wanted to be done. But he said, I'm a jealous God. I will not share my glory to another. You got to put God first. That's why I say it's his story. What we did, how God used you to stand up, that's God working in you. Paul said, for me to live is Jesus Christ. And he said, you can't do nothing without me. But we can do all things through Christ who strengthened us. Let's not push him back. Said, what we gonna do now? A lot of folks say, now, y'all can't do the civil rights movement. What you gonna do? I said, we're gonna keep on trusting in the Lord. It was the Lord who worked for us. We got to continue to stand up against injustice, stand up against what is wrong. We got to continue to let our light shine. The devil ain't doing a little better because he wants to. He's trying to get up, trying to turn the clock back. But we got to stand up with resolution, stand up with resolve.
God has commanded us to love our neighbors as we love ourselves, and to love him with all our heart, mind, and soul. Basically, he's instructed us to love one another as he has loved us. That's with an abundance of grace, mercy, and forgiveness. We understand we need to know who our enemies are. We need to know who our friends are. And we need to be able to discern the difference. We have no time to walk in ignorance. We have no time to walk in hate. We will abide by the principles of God Almighty to victory, not just for ourselves, but for all of humanity. But he does instruct us to love our neighbors as we love ourselves. He's not instructed us to hate ourselves, to love anybody else. We learn how to love our brothers and sisters by loving ourselves. To God be the glory.